Hello readers and writers of the internet, welcome back. So this video is going to be another Let's Talk. This one I kind of struggled with because I knew I wanted to talk about this specific book, but I didn't know how exactly to incorporate it into a Let's Talk, but I did think of something. So this one is going to be like, when is it okay, or is it okay for authors to do like spin-off series and stuff like that? So like they have their trilogy or whatnot, and then let's say there's a popular character like in, oh, I don't have it here, Shadow and Bone. Nikolai was very popular, and Leigh Bardugo did a spin-off series of him. And now the same thing is happening with Jax from the Caravel series. So I'm kind of gonna walk through when I think it's okay to do a spin-off series and when it's not okay, because I hear a lot of times like, oh, it's just a cash grab, or you know, this is something only diehard fans can read. And I kind of agree with that in some respects, but not all the time. So the four examples that I'm going to be talking about are Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, obviously, King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collin, is that it? And Midnight Sun by Stephanie Garber. I'm pretty sure you guys can piece together which two I'm okay with and which two I'm not. But just in case, I am against the Songbirds and Snakes and then the Midnight Sun. I'm okay with King of Scars and Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'm going to kind of talk through that with you guys. So, one of the reasons why I think... Let's go negative first. I'm in that kind of mood today. I was in class from 10 to 4. Let's go negative. So, if you hear noise, it's my dog. I do apologize. But... Songbirds and Snakes. First off, yes, it is noted that I do not like the original Hunger Games trilogy. I really don't like it, especially To Kill a Mockingjay. I really hate it. I've done a review of it. I'll link it up there for you guys. But yeah, I really don't like this series. But this hate of the series has nothing to do with why I dislike this continuation. I dislike this continuation because it follows President Snow, and it's a prequel that we didn't need. If it would have followed Finnick, for example, and like kind of what he went through during his games and then after the fact, because we kind of get a hint that he was used a lot. I'm trying to think of like what's appropriate and not. Physically, I guess, so like sexually, and then mentally as well. President Snow used him quite a bit. Because he was like the golden child. A story about that would have been okay in my opinion. Also, and I just blanked on his name, but Katniss's mentor, the only other person to win a Hunger Games in District 12, him, that would have been amazing to see him go through his games and what he had to do, and maybe even after the games, and what it was like to be the first victor of, you know, District 12 and that kind of stuff. And then like later we do see that he is an alcoholic. So maybe something like leading up to that. Those scenarios I felt would have been warranted. You know, President Snow, I feel like no one was dying to have a book written about him. And it's not even like he's a morally gray character. It's not like the Darkling or the prince from the Stormcrow. I just blanked on his name, excuse me. Or the guy from this one, the love interest. Or you know, the small girl from that one. You know, it's not like he's a morally good character where it would be warranted to see his backstory and what really made him do what he did. He's just a bad guy. He's just a run-of-the-mill bad guy. Like, there's really no depth to him at all. And I think, I don't know, on the one hand, I do have to commend her for saying, you know what, I want to take this character that's very one-dimensional. I'm not trying to be mean when I say that, but let's be honest here. President Snow is a very, very, very one-dimensional character. All he cares about is power. That's it. Okay? Taking this one-dimensional character and trying to make him more. You know, I do commend her for that. But she definitely chose the wrong character and went about it the wrong way. It should also be noted that I have not read this book, but I have seen reviews and stuff and, like, you know, So I know that like everything that's incorporated into the current games when Katniss gets there happens in like this one book. Like the I honestly don't know, maybe talk shows, something like that, or like I don't know, the cameras following them around, stuff like that. Like everything is just happening during this one like time frame, you know, instead of just being like a little sneak peek here or there, or a little, oh, clue for the fans, that's so cool, I had no idea that began here. But no, to my understanding, everything was like involved in this book, and that's just the wrong way to go about it. And when I say this, I'm not trying to be mean, it's just what I think. Again, I haven't read the book, but to me that sounds just like a cash grab. It's like, I don't really care about, I don't know, writing a story about characters that readers would want to read, or I don't really care about, you know, making things line up in a certain way that benefits both stories. I don't really care about that. I care more about just releasing this prequel after the hype of everything has died down and getting more hype and calling it a day. That's honestly what I think. I'm not trying to be mean. I do understand. Obviously, she wrote the book, and it's a decent sized book, so she did like it. She did have to like it and be passionate about it in some respects. But do I think she was as passionate about it, or would have been, if it wasn't related to the Hunger Games, or the Hunger Games wouldn't have been as popular? No, I don't. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try to get that out of there. That's my dog. I'm so sorry. No, I don't, honestly. I think it was honestly just a cash grab years after the hype of the Hunger Games had died down. So that one is out of the way, and then we're gonna move on to a positive. King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This one actually follows a character that pretty much everyone likes, Nikolai. I love Nikolai, and his arc was left off in such a way at the end of the Shadow and Bone trilogy that he could have stayed like that and been fine, or we could have gone in continuation and it'd have been fine. Do I think that Leigh Bardugo left it the way that she did in the hopes that he would be popular enough to get his own spin-off series? Yes, I have heard her state that like she didn't know that he was going to be that popular. She would have never imagined a spin-off series. Again, I'm not trying to be mean, but this, like, I'm not comparing myself to these amazing authors, even if I don't like their books. I'm not comparing myself to them. But just from an author standpoint, sometimes you leave a character or a situation off in a certain way in hopes that it will continue. Because you do fall in love with the things that you write. You fall in love with your characters, you fall in love with the world, you fall in love with everything about it. When I finished my book, Vampire's Pet, I was really, really, really heartbroken about it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was really sad. I think I cried when I finished the book because I'm like, oh my gosh, like years of blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this thing and I'm just done with it. Like, what? You know, so I think she left it off kind of, not a cliffhanger at ending, but kind of like that in hopes that we get a continuation, but she wasn't like, I have a plan for a continuation. So that's nice, and then that's okay. For me, that's okay, because everyone loved Nikolai. I love Nikolai. You know, he made an appearance in the Six of Crows, and like that was really something special. I'm not going to talk about reviews or anything. I haven't really heard much about it because I want to read the book, so I haven't like delved deep as I have into the books that I dislike. So there's not much I can say about the plot or anything like that, but it does also follow a character from Six of Crows. And to my understanding, there is a new character in here, so she's doing something really smart. She's taking these characters that we already know and already love and already have a backstory for, continuing their stories, but then bringing in somewhere else so we get something new and fresh. So that also helps the story where it's already, you know, within the limits of the other books and stuff like that, and it's following characters that are already established. So that I think is okay. I don't mind when an author does that if the fans are really like, I want a story about this character, I really like this character, you know, and don't get me wrong, there can be instances where maybe an author is burnt out and the fans are like, I really want this character, and they're like, fine, screw it, and they just write a book. I don't agree with that at all, you know? I think as a writer, your heart and passion should be into it, and you shouldn't just do it because the fans want it. You know, the fans can do fan fictions. Like, they don't need a book if you don't want to do the book, and that's kind of selfish, but also, it's, if you're not into it, then when the fan reads it, they're gonna be like, oh, this is not what I was expecting, and it's like, obviously, the author didn't want to do it, you know, so there are instances like that where I'm like, no, like, I get why they did it, I don't agree with that at all, but this one, to my understanding, not like that at all. So now we're going to move on to another negative one. This one is Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. So this one is, it's not even a prequel to the Twilight series, it's literally just another POV. I haven't read the original Twilight series, I haven't read this book, but I know of it. I was forced to see the movies, so I know. Believe me, I know. So the original books follow Bella, and then this continuation, Midnight Sun, goes back to the first book and follows Edward's point of view. Now this could have been really interesting if maybe, I don't know, more things would have been left in the dark, but it is my understanding of this that the original series, it was very, I'm not trying to be mean here, but it was very cringy teenage lore type of stuff, to where all the characters would say exactly what they were feeling. You know, there was nothing left up to interpretation. There was no, like, smart guesswork with, like, I can tell you're upset. There was no, to my understanding, micro, like, body cues to where it's like, I don't know, if a character twitches when they're upset or snaps when they're upset, and they do that, and the other character's like, oh, what's wrong? Obviously something's wrong. To my understanding, that wasn't that. It was like all the characters were like, I feel sad because I love him. You know, and they would all just wear their emotions out on their sleeve, which I don't particularly like, but that's besides the point. So, point being that Edward, all of his thoughts and all of his feelings were already on the page in the original book because of that writing style, because of that emotional aspect of it, I guess would be the word. So because of that, Edward is like already established. There's nothing really left up to interpretation. It's my understanding that we get his backstory, like Bella knows his backstory. Everyone goes through Max. Everyone goes through a backstory, that kind of stuff. Very nice. But like, this book really had no rhyme or reason to be made, and it was so weird because it came out very closely after Songbirds and Snakes, so it was almost like that book came out, and then Stephenie Meyer was like, oh, that's a smart idea, and then she wrote Midnight Sun within a day. So, you know, it's just, this one is 100% in my opinion a crash grab. There's no reason for it to be written. It's my understanding. I've seen reviews of this. I think my favorite review was by the Irish Reader. I will link his channel down in the description below. I love him. But he was basically like, nothing new was being brought to the table, and the original issues that were in the original books weren't fixed. Like, they just remained there, and it's like, you had a chance to fix this. You had a chance to make things right, and you didn't do that. It's like, why even write a book if you're not going to fix anything? You know, it's just like rinsing and repeating. It's just from a slightly different perspective, but we still get everything that the original books had. So that's when it kind of really ticks me off. It's like, well, now you're using your fan base that you've acquired over these books that a lot of people really like, and you're just like, I know they're going to buy it. Screw you. Give me money. You know, and obviously I don't think they should do that, but that's essentially what it is. It's like the middle finger to them. It's like, no, your fan base deserves more. Like they weren't, to my knowledge, they weren't begging for a new book. You decided to write it on your own free will, and then you gave it to them, and they're like, what is this? And don't get me wrong, I have seen diehard fans that are really like, oh my gosh, this book is so good. But like, that's only for the diehard fans. It's not for regular readers like me. It's not for even regular fans, because they're like, oh, I already got this in the original. Like, there was no reason for this book to be made whatsoever, and it's next to infuriating that it was. It's just this is when it kind of gets me. I can at least respect Suzanne Collins or whatever for taking on a different character and trying to do something new. I can at least respect that. It may have been done wrongly, but I can still respect it. Here, nothing was done new. Nothing. It was just a slight change of POV. Like, that is it. That's the simplest change that you can make. I do it all the time. I change POVs for fun. Like, it's just, no. And then she's selling it, and it's like a $20 book. It's just maddening. It's so maddening. But obviously, that's when I'm like, no, this is not okay to do a spinoff. Like, no one was asking for this. No one wanted this, and you still gave it to us. Why? And then this brings us to the final book, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a continuation on the character Jax from the Cara Bell series. He was actually a pretty popular character. I personally loved him in that series, along with Scarlet. They were my two favorite people. I'm so glad that she chose Jax. I would have been not the happiest with other characters. But she chose Jax, so that's okay. So it is following him. It's following him and this girl, so it is a love story, kind of, but that's kind of his, like, thing, so that is to be expected. And basically, for those of you who don't know, he is essentially almost like a god, kind of. He has these powers. When he gets upset, he does cry blood, which is really cool. So hopefully we get a lot of that. I really liked his personality in the original. It was almost like a Nikolai-esque type personality, which I really enjoyed. Just the cocky, arrogant, suave guys, I guess. I guess we just found my type. Wow. But yeah, so it's following them. It is my understanding this is going to be a new story. It would be cool if Tella and Scarlet pop up, but it's not like a promise, you know. To my understanding, this is his story. New characters. I've already seen fan art. Very pretty. Go check out Stephanie Garber's Instagram page because she does post fan art. It's really good. But yeah, it's new characters, new plot, new everything. Obviously, again, and I can't say too much because I haven't read it. It's I don't even think it's out yet, so not a lot of people can review it. But that's basically all I can say, just like the summary-wise and character-wise. But that is obviously when I'm like, okay, yes, this is okay to do because people really like the character, myself included. And, like, I kind of read this around the time where she was preparing Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I never got to be able to be like, oh my gosh, a book should be made about Jax. Is by the time I finished Finale, she was like, by the way, I'm writing another book. I'm like, that's amazing. Wow, we coordinated that. But that's essentially that. So, you know, this area of when is it okay to do a spin-off series or continuation has, like, a lot of people on the fence, you know. I know a lot of people who are like, no, I won't even look at spin-offs, they're just milk or money grabs, you know. And then I know other people that are like, I'm going to read every single spin-off there is just because I like the author. And I can kind of see both. I do understand both. I'm one of those people that's like, if the story is warranted and if I like the original trilogy or book series and it's following a character that I do know and I do love and I do like, then I will most likely like that one, give it a shot. I'm okay with that. So there is a little bit of bias, but not too much. That's basically all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments or anything, let me know down in the description below. I will 100% answer them. I do love it when you guys comment. It's very fun for me to respond and like read through what you guys think of my videos. It does mean a lot. Yeah, even if you want to know my opinion on another book that I didn't cover here, I only did 4 just for time-wise, I guess. But yeah, if there's another one that you're like, what do you think about this one? I can definitely research it and let you know. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And it means the world to me if you follow me on my other social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, and my writing profiles. This will be down in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!